God puts us in nations, in places, not by mistake, but to do a job. What if we opened our eyes to the needs of our colleagues, of our leaders, of our subordinates, and we were a priest on their behalf? Welcome to the Repurposing Business Podcast. My name is Brett Johnson.
And I'm Len Johnson.
And we're going to be talking about how to get our business into God's business. So thank you for joining us this week and every week on the Repurposing Business Podcast. Well, welcome to the Repurposing Business Podcast. I'm here with Praveen and Naren. And Praveen and Naren are in Chennai, India. It's great to have you guys with me today.
Thank you.
Great. And Praveen and Naren are not just good friends. They happen to be in business together, and that's what they do. And they run a company called TrueTech, and it's amazing business. And that's what we're going to hear about today, some of their journey, some of their story. And Praveen, maybe you want to give us just in a few sentences, what does TrueTech actually do?
Yeah, we are typically an IT services company. We predominantly started our journey a decade back, and we started as a recruitment hiring company, which then slowly branched out to become an IT services company. Now we are having professional services, IT services, and also a product engineering team. We have grown multiple fold.
Fantastic, great. And Naren, what were your studies? What did you study, and how did you get into this field? What's your background?
So I'm a mechanical engineer. And I was very keen on people management. So I strongly believed I'm more than, I work more than missions. Yes. So I started my career believing that as my passion, and started with HR.
Okay.
Then I also realized people management is beyond HR. Yeah. And I thought of moving or like growing beyond HR to various functions, understanding various functions from the people management perspective, technology, and eventually that helped when I get into entrepreneurship.
So a mechanical engineer who was interested in HR. Well, that's quite unusual. Yeah, fantastic. And Praveen, how about you? What's your background?
Yeah, I was Max graduate initially, but then moved on to sales and marketing and business development. On and off was doing small businesses. So my entrepreneurship journey started 20 years back, I would say. And prior to TrueTech, I have tried many things, failed, got back to employment, and was pulling myself back to entrepreneurship by starting TrueTech.
So what was your best failure in your early years as an entrepreneur, Praveen?
Yeah, I would say I ventured into import-export hardware businesses, which I really got a very, very bad hit. It took time for me to bounce back because it was a big loss at a very early stage.
Yeah. Wow.
And other than that, other things were good. Didn't scale up much, but it was all good learning, good experience.
So you paid your school fees on a failed import-export business. That's great. Yeah. And then how did the two of you connect? Was that around the equipment hiring company?
No. We connected by joining. We both joined in a company at the same day.
Okay.
So I was joining that company as HR. Yeah. Praveen was joining as a sales business development head. Yeah. And we happened to start the day with a meal as a new employee in that company.
Yeah.
And that's how we met each other. But we got a lot of synergy, a lot of the moments that a friendship can grow.
Yeah.
So we identified that, and then it started into multiple things here.
Fantastic, great. So I first met you guys when you were on a repurposing business venture, a REAP venture in Chennai. What year was that?
It was 2015.
2015. When I met you guys, you had about 50 employees. And at that stage, you were doing, as I recall, sort of web application development, that sort of thing, primarily is what you were doing by that stage. So tell us about your experience in the REAP venture. What was that like? And then we'll pick up the journey since then.
Yeah, I would say yes, we had the energy and also wanted to achieve something big. We wanted to grow the company and all that. But I think repurposing business, the 10 days really helped us to put the house in order. We wanted to, and we had high energy, we had the togetherness, the DNA was all there within us to, whatever is needed was within us, but to put things in the right boxes. It really helped us for us to reflect ourselves, as individuals, what is our strength, what is our weakness. The lemon assessment was really helpful for us to reflect and understand each other's strengths and how we can contribute towards the organization. And we also understood that the process is very important, not just our efforts, but the efforts in the right place, and the support system and all that. So the cycle example, 10 Fs and 10 Ps, we really resonate that whenever we have internal meetings. So I would say we were pushing ourselves. We were self-employed until then, and after that we really started looking at our business as a large business.
Okay, fantastic. So self-employed, and from your perspective, Praveen, order was the big thing. The 10 Ps, the 10 Fs, and lemon leadership gave you some structure to bring order to a self-employed business and so forth. It's quite an admission from a business development guy that you need order, right, Naren? That's quite a
absolutely. We were. It's like we were juggling 4 balls in a hand. It was always a point where we are scared of losing a ball. So how to make it in order and how to really stick to that, right? It was a very challenging for us because we are also first generation entrepreneurs, both of us. So the learning has to be more from the experience than from anyone.
Right.
Apart from that, we also there are a couple of more points that REAP has helped repurpose is to understand the calling. How there was always a misunderstanding of business versus life. So how business is part of your life and how it can be calling of God, and how you can really use the business to bless others. Was a great learning from the REAP, which we eventually started seeing everyone's blessing as a blessing from the business, which was another good takeaway from the old process.
So did that free you up to focus on the business more because you knew it was a channel for blessing? Was that what happened?
Obviously, it's not only free up, it also gave more accountability and compelling reasons to take up the challenge and overcome the challenge. Because this way we are going to help and build so many people career and their lives. So even now, one of the important value of our organization is to see how everyone is growing in the organization. So so it gave us free mind. It made us to understand the calling, as well as gave us a responsibility to grow and continue growing.
Fantastic. Yeah. And so, as I mentioned, I think I'm right. You had about 50 employees when you came through the REAP venture, and now you've got a greater sense of calling, a greater sense of accountability. You're putting order in place. What's happened, Praveen, with your growth since then, and how's that developed? And this didn't happen automatically. You actually may perhaps first talk about how you systematically went about implementing what you learned during the REAP venture. And then we'll get to your growth. How about that? So who wants to tackle how you did it? Naren, do you want to do that, or Praveen?
Praveen.
Yeah, I can cover a little bit, and then Naren can take it. See, we kind of had clarity on how our businesses should be approached. Like human beings, every business has got its own behavior, and we wanted to separate the verticals and look at each verticals as different business units and run a different P&L. So that gave us clarity on the kind of approach we should have in terms of the employees as well as the customers, and also the product or the services pitch that we have. Mm-hmm. So we bifurcated our services business out of TrueTech and was running at a different as a separate P&L, and then started a different entity out of that, and we grew that much faster because of the digital transformation. The whole world was undergoing. We could figure out the niche space much earlier, and we kind of focused more on that space, and it really grew well. So with our hiring and professional services expertise, we could do it much faster. With the process, with our past performance expertise, we could do it much faster. Fantastic. So that kind of I would say a focused approach really helped us to do things better. Naren, I think you can.
Oh, good. I can add a couple of points, Praveen. If we see the sequence of events, we attended a reprogram, right? So that was our eye opener for many things, including our organization, individual, family, friends, togetherness. We've understood a lot of things in the program. But then just after the next day of the program, we had two choices. We can stick to the implementation of what we learned, or we should have gone back to work as usual. So we as a team, we committed to sticking to the learnings and to implement in the organization with a very faithful way. So we took REAP help, the leaders from the REAP team to monitor us and to guide us for few years, at least I would say 2 years, majorly from the Indian team called Mr. Thomas. So we have managed to keep him in the process of ensuring that what we learned has been implemented, and we stick to the disciplines that what we wanted to do. Yeah. So that implementation, we did, throughout or for few years, which helped a lot.
So would Thomas come and meet with you weekly, and was he involved in your scorecards and making sure that the strategies, the actions you'd agreed on in the 10-day venture, you were actually starting to implement? Is that what he was doing?
Yes, he was doing the review of our program. And also we had to engage with him in multiple areas of his expertise, because beyond what the reviews that he can do, Thomas got a lot of expertise in terms of helping us in the organization. So he was kind of been to our leadership and trying to help us running the business in the principle of God, which was much needed for us. So that's what we did.
Fantastic. Well, I love the way that you guys were deliberate in engaging Thomas Stevenson in walking with you, as we heard last week from the guys at Grace Valley. He also spent time working with those guys, going through things, completely different business. But it's not like you go to a 10-day consultation and then everything just happens. It requires a commitment of years to walk this thing out, which is fantastic. So I want to commend you guys for doing that, because otherwise it's like going to a Christian rally, standing up, raising your hand, and then you do nothing, just go back to business as usual. So I commend you, because it's easier sometimes just to do what you know how to do. Yeah. So fantastic. So what would you say was one of your biggest adjustments before we get into your growth? What was one of your biggest adjustments where you thought, okay, we need to rethink this, or we need to put more focus over here?
More on the organizational behavior and structure, because being from the entrepreneurial approach to an organizational approach,
yeah,
and some of the disciplines needed in terms of financial management, in terms of customer management. So we were like, understanding that, what the P in the profit means. So we really need to, we got into a few, kind of, coming out of the comfort zone and trying to adjust ourselves to be in that discipline, to run an organization, than the hand of, free hand to do anything as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, well, that's what you have as an entrepreneur. I mean, you decide today you want to do this, you can do it. Tomorrow you want to do that. But as you mature out of that into a growing organization, then not such a good thing to do. So great, so fantastic. So that sounds like a good thing to do. Praveen, from your perspective, were there any big what your big adjustments as you see it?
I would say the review pattern that we followed. I mean, like initially it was kind of a little difficult when we were asking questions among ourselves. But then when we reflected the reality and we saw that we are growing, I think that discipline was initially the adjustment, but now we try and push it to implement in every department.
Fantastic. So I love that idea of having review and accountability. And it's good that there's two of you in the business wired quite differently. And I know that your wives have a say in your lives, they're not just, and so that's great as well. And so what's happened since then? So we left you at 50 people, and then you broke out into different P&Ls for different aspects of the business. And so what's happened with the business since then?
Yeah, our technology space we adopted was pretty niche, and our growth was also at 2x, 3x every year. And from 2015 and around 2018, we were 200 plus people, 250 around in the technology vertical alone. And later on in 2019, we had a partnership with another large US firm, and it was a kind of merger. And that company is globally number 3 in the low-code space, and we are around 800 people right now in the software services area.
Okay, so your software services grew 2x, 3x a year. Got to 250 people, and you did a merger with the company was out of the Midwest somewhere, as I recall, right?
Michigan.
Yeah, there we go. Fantastic. And that's now got you to about 800 people in that part of your business, which implies there's another part of the business. What's the other part of the business then?
No, other part of the business is also so if you look at from the IT services space, there are various offerings that we do. So one of the offering was low code, and that particular low code as a service as a business is what interested the other company, and we also needed their help to grow in the US market. So that's when we chose to go that path. But our core business which is on the professional services and some of the IT services. And then we also started, doing a product within the company. So that business, also grew close to about 200 plus people slowly. And, eventually it is still in the business with a very strong footprint of professional services, product, and core technology services. So if you think from 2015 to 2021, the growth of this organization is, though it has to be spinned off into two different organizations for the reason, but as a leadership, we believe, we see the same as two as one. So if we put that in that context, so we've started growing from 50, and we reached in 2019 close to about 400 people. And from 2019 to 2021, which an accelerated growth, which we have closely about 1,000 people today.
Yeah.
So that's the journey in terms of how we focused on our different verticals.
Yeah.
Even the product that we started, which is a platform to do a human assessment, not on the technology space, right? So we wanted to use the marketplace experts to use their free time to do the assessment. And in last few months, or like 6 to 12 months period, that particular product also grown to a good level where it started attracting a lot of big players to come in as investors.
Yeah.
So the spin off and venturing into multiple things and also having consistent growth is what happened in this 7 years.
So Naren, does that new business, the assessment business, does that have its own staff on top of the 1,000 people, or it's the same?
I would say it will include all of them. But what happens with the human assessment platform is, as I said, it has a marketplace assessment or experts. So that particular marketplace experts, we have 2,000 people enrolled in our platform. Okay. So those 2,000 people are external people, work for assessment basis. So they come and do the interview or assessment of a human, and they give a report, and they get paid, right? Okay. So that has grown from 0 to 2,000 very consistently, right? So that is also the blessing that what we are seeing.
Excellent. So that's an amazing, I mean, God's been good, like a 20-fold growth on your core people, plus you've expanded your household to another 2,000 people who are service providers through your platform.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's an amazing growth story. And what have been some of the challenges for you guys, just personally as leaders, leading a growth like that? Has it caused you guys to stretch and grow as well? And how's that happened? Praveen, do you want to tackle that first?
Yeah, from outside, it looks like we are stretching, but I feel we love what we do. I personally, I love what I do.
Yeah.
And the best time for me is the time in office.
Yeah.
With people doing work and connecting, looking at opportunities, and thinking, visualizing about strategies, how we can grow still further.
Yeah.
So
you're still smiling.
Yeah, very much.
Always. Yeah. No, as I resonate, Praveen, the passion of building this organization has never been, the challenges are never put as barriers on that passion. There are challenges, because of all the external world and internal aspects, and challenges at home. People think that we spend less time at home. All those challenges are there. It won't be nice to say no, but what overseeded is the passion towards doing this and the purpose towards doing this. We really enjoyed when there is a time where we had a downs, we had it. So it's not that all 7 years we just grown. We had some kind of downs and situations where it took us drowning to the well kind. But we really realized God's hand, and there is always a help comes from kind of miracles, right? So me and Praveen always tell this: miracles are true. so that's our code word, when we are in challenge and troubles, we say, let's wait for the miracle. And,
okay. So let's unpack that. Praveen, what are some of the miracles you've seen over the years?
See, I think every day we undergo something, and it has really given us the confidence that the blessing is always on the way.
Yeah.
Right? When there's a difficult time, when there is a crossroad, in terms of managing customers, managing people, and also some external government agencies or whatever, on the online side of all that, we were always too good to be following the process and practices, and we never deviate. So we kind of kept it very low in terms of risk and all that. Yeah. But then if there are any operational challenges, if there are any business challenges, we had put extra effort, but we were pretty confident that we will bounce back multifold. And so actually we have now become like, if there is a challenge, we are happy because we know there is something coming next, which is going to give you 10 things.
Naren, go ahead.
There are a lot of miracles that can excite, even me now today. It's like being from a mechanical engineering and HR, I really, don't know anything ABCD of the coding. But when we realized running a software company and all those things, there are many times, we get into a trouble, and I sit and sometimes I don't know how it happens. It happens, right? I code myself and get things done. I can I don't know. And I can talk to people who really strong technology people, and I could able to, strong equally and explain what they want and convince them they want. I always feel that moment, it is something happens. It's not about what we have learned. It's about that miracle. And anything that we wait for, customer orders or situations in the project which goes chaos, or something comes like a COVID situations. So we have seen lot of miracles. Because 2019 was our merger, and 2020 early was the COVID. And we definitely considered that as a great miracle of God, because there could be a challenge for us to be in trouble if not joined with a bigger organization. So there are many and which really, if you look back, it excites and puts us feeling very, very happily.
It's quite amazing for a couple of engineers, in the sense that, engineers like to think we solve problems, but you guys are acknowledging that, there will be problems that we can't solve. And that's exciting, because that's the gap where God shows up. I remember years ago, we had a group meeting at one of the tech companies in Silicon Valley. It was Agilent, actually. And one of our REAP guys had this group and was talking about faith and everything, but many of them were not believers. So I went in and I spoke to them about marketplace miracles. And you could see they were a bit skeptical. So I said, okay, tell me a problem that you've had that you couldn't solve. Because I'm thinking they'll tell me the problem, we'll pray and God will solve the problem. And they said, we're engineers, we solve problems, you know. So sometimes there can be that mindset. And but I love the fact that you guys embrace the challenges that's bigger than your expertise, because you know God's going to be faithful and God is going to show up. How's that impacted your employees, your now team of about 1,000 people, when they see God intervening? I'm presuming that among your staff, many of them, given the context that you're in, are not people of a Christian faith. Is that right?
Yeah, many. In fact, majority are not in Christian faith. But then, what I believe, during these years is there are two things they must have understood. Is one, they strongly understood that me and Praveen resonate everything to God. God is first, right? So we always influenced or shared that message that it's not about you, it's about God's plan and putting God first. Right? That is something that we practiced, and we have heard people talking that into some places and believing that also, right? They may not change their belief or not move to any faith, but the process what we followed as this faith has been transferred very well by giving God as putting God as first, and believing in miracles, and having holiness in the business, right? And so business can be done in any ways. So we practiced of making sure we run 100% ethical, not even 1% chance to be unethical, right? So that is all shown in people when they do it their own job. And I have seen people fighting customers saying that I can't do because it's not ethical, right? So that is the at least from my view, few years, what people have taken from us during the association with us.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Praveen, what have been some of your highlights, how you've seen your people kind of adopting your values and your view on things?
Yeah, now that we have a very wide team, we may not know each and every person by name, but whenever we are interacting, at least the core team, they've seen this multiple times, and their faith level has increased. And they also set up personal goals and official goals for their career path, and they kind of connect both. Their career, their family, and combine the goals, how they can use their workplace as a vehicle for them to achieve their goals. So as Naren rightly said, we have not deviated from the ethics of the business. And we were very, very confident of telling customers that we do business this way. If there is anything which is not getting aligned, we'd stay away. So we had the guts to say no only because of the faith levels. And that has been transformed, cascaded to multiple levels.
Yeah, fantastic. That's great. Just having this, as you say, the guts to say no to the easy, what looks like an easy path. And now, so this is for me a practical example of making disciples of people, whether they're from the Christian faith or not, whatever their faith background, they're adopting your standards, and they're getting your growth expectations, which is really faith expressed in business. So when you say, yeah, we understood that God wants us to expand because God's an expansionist, it increases our capability to bless others, then that gets passed on to your team. So you're really passing on a life of faith, excuse me, to your 1,000 people. They're getting it infused in their DNA that they too can grow, which is really, really important. I mean, it sounds simple. Somebody from listening from Silicon Valley, which I know you guys have been to, might think, oh, that's easy. But actually, India is a fatalistic, has a fatalistic worldview, as some other things. And part of it comes out of the Hindu background. And I've seen it in other countries, like in Egypt, coming out of the Muslim background. I remember once, this was before you guys got involved in Reap. I've got to point this out. Some of my Indian friends came to me and said, Brett, we love Reap and we love the 10P model. There's just two things. And they sat down with Lynn and with me quite seriously. They said, we don't want to do planning. The planning P has got to go. Because Indians are smart, we don't need to plan. Number two, we don't want to do scorecarding. Again, Indians are smart. We don't need to scorecard. So I listened to this. I thought this is very interesting. So the next day, I called them and I said, you know what the problem is? The problem is that you are Christian in terms of your salvation, but you are Hindus in terms of your worldview. You're fatalists. You don't want to plan because you're fatalistic. You think whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Whatever's going to be is going to be. And one of the guys said, you know, even in our offices, in our factories, we have this sign on the wall from some guru, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Whatever is going to be is going to be. And that's why they don't want to plan, you know. And so it was interesting. So when we talk about you guys grasping that you're blessed to be a blessing, that you have a household, that growing a household is part of the exercise of your faith, and you're infusing that into your people, it's completely countercultural. It's not to say that there aren't great Indian businesses. There are, and there's been huge success stories. But infusing that DNA in people is bringing a kingdom DNA in a countercultural way in the business world in India. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, very much. Yeah. It is definitely there.
Seen that change the moment they see the growth happening in their lives because of the principles that it's a simple formula. It'll work if you work it right.
Yeah.
So faith is a formula. So people have experience in their personal life, and it kind of reflects in the work they do also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I completely agree.
Yeah.
And also the measurement of growth is completely different from individuals. So I can see businesses grown 10 times than us in one form of measurement, but there are various form of measurements can score us better even, right? So I always take this example. When you want to go to some place, you have three measurements: time, distance, speed. So I mean, you can use any of that. But what we strongly started believing is, the core value is important, and that's our measurement of growth. As and when we are able to stick to that and not diverted with other influences coming out to expand it much faster or better. We are rechecking every time, is it coming under our principle? We don't talk, in fact, maybe me and Praveen are talking this just now in front of you. We don't even talk about this, but then it is with us, right? That way, we strongly believe that.
Yeah. So you're measuring whether people are growing in terms of the implementation of your values, and whether they making sure you're not doing numerical growth at the expense of the growth of your people and the expense of your values. Is that's what I'm hearing?
Grow right, grow ethical, and get back home with the peace, right? So these are some of the things, and do your work honestly, faithfully, without not just for someone, for you, right? So a lot of these comes under even if I resonate with the piece, right? Planning is something that we push a lot to our team, right? Praveen used to say to everyone, like, planning is half done, right? And we encourage people, right planning is half done, right? So, and we encourage people to start with end mindset. So know where you are going, don't go into the tunnel, see the light in the tunnel. So these are areas that we wanted to really see people having that as their business, or a career improvements.
So
And
Naren, I missed your statement. Planning is what did you say?
So what I said is, good planning is
half done.
Say that again, Praveen.
Right planning is half done. I mean, like the work half done.
Okay, so right planning is half done, you said.
Work half done. I mean, like it's even before you start something, your planning takes you.
Okay, half of the way there. So half of the job is to do a proper plan. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I understand you now. Okay, good. Okay, good. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, rather than just rushing into something. That's quite a big admission for two entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah. That's important. Acceptance is important.
Good. Yeah. Oh, that's great. It's good to see that. Yeah. So in terms of, as we bring this thing to a wrap over here, what do you sense God is saying to you about the future? I mean, you're not afraid of growth. You're not afraid of problems. You're looking out into the future. What are some of your hopes as to, or your sense as to where God is taking you, or what are some of your hopes for the future?
So I would say, when we are not being over ambitious, but we kind of having strong faith that all our businesses following the same formula is going to take off multifold. And if you look at the past, we've always identified right areas, which is purely the grace of God, because there are people who can speak better English, probably more educated than us, but we have seen areas that could grow much faster, and God has brought us there to invest our time and effort in the right places. So
Right.
we are looking at takeoff time for all the other businesses that we do, all the verticals that we are currently having, product and
product and service. Yeah. So that's fantastic. So I love your point about it's the grace of God that leads you to spot the right opportunities. Very interesting. Yeah. Naren, how about from your side?
Yeah, of course, I will agree with Praveen. There are places where things come in front of us, which we have never heard of, we have seen, and it's something that we have to go and grab that, because it's like a God sent angel, and that gives us growth.
Yeah.
But what's now in front of us is like, we have undergone that miracle multiple times, and now we know exactly, we can actually do it again and again and again and again, like how God has given blessings of 10,000 times, and then you come and ask another 10,000 times of blessing, right? He is an abundant God, and we want to really show. I mean, it's not about proving anyone, but then I really feel that entrepreneur, first generation of entrepreneur, without having background, with pure grace of God, following the discipline of God, has to build an empire than a business. And that will, if 500 out of 1,000 people, if 200 people follows what we are doing, and if we build millions of people organization, the amount of reflection and influence can be multiple. So we don't want to restrict our growth, what God can have for us. So keeping open-minded, having accepting what is coming in front of us, but executing well with all our talent that is given by God. Not to put our talent in a no use kind of situation. So we won't really use our talent, grow this, and by the grace of God, next time when we meet, we should be having $1 billion company.
Fantastic. Have you seen many of your people spin off and go and start their own companies? So what has there been a turnover in a sense that some people say, Praveen and Naren can do this, I can go and do something that's my own passion? Have you seen much of that taking place?
There are interest, there are people talking, but so far we haven't seen any case studies. But what we have seen is they have gone to other companies, but still followed what we are following. That kind of situation we have encountered. But it's also another area because we are into a services business and not a product business. So startups today in culture is more on products and those things. So people really wait for the opportunity to come with idea. Services, nobody wants to take a risk because it's a two-sided sword business, and nowadays it's a circular sword business, right? So it cut everywhere. so it's a big risk, but honestly, we would like to encourage people to do it, and even we wanted to support them to set that discipline properly. So that's the stand today.
Yeah, fantastic. So what advice, Praveen and Naren, would you give to people thinking about going on this repurposing business journey, the implementation, the integration of work and faith, the getting their business into God's business? What advice would you give to people contemplating this journey?
So we realize one point very clearly, Brett. I mean, like, if you are really, I mean, like, the ministry is not in on the Sunday service, but in what we do in the marketplace. Right. So as believers, you have a vehicle. If you are in business, you should definitely grow that multifold, and that magic will happen only if you do proper planning and undergo a process, reflect, and take it forward. And I would say Reap would be the best point to start, because in the business world, not everybody wants other businesses to grow. One, and even if you want to enroll something, I don't know, you are keen, eager to do something, it is definitely out of reach for growing entrepreneurs. So I strongly believe even getting into Reap was a miracle, right? Meaning it was just a phone call. Our church pastor connected us to Reap, and somebody came and visited, and we just wanted to try, and but the moment we are in, like, so I think that is why we are here.
It's good to hear, Praveen, that your pastor connected you to Reap.
Yes. Many thanks to him.
Great.
I would like to add a couple of points. One is for somebody who is looking at Reap, not just looking Reap as a Christian program, faith program. Reap teaches business. Reap really, I would really, because I attended many programs, including IAMs of the world. So the learning that Reap has given, it is as equivalent as larger institutes which could teach executive programs. So you get everything in one place. God's principle, workplace, ministry, confidence to grow, as well as knowledge that any bigger institute can give. So it's a good program, and I still follow Lemon. I still recommend Lemon, because it's a great way to look at your organization. So,
Great. Okay. Well, thanks, Naren. Praveen, Naren, thank you so much for sharing your stories. It's been an encouragement. It's great to hear about God's hand on your business, your faithfulness, your deliberateness in pursuing what you're pursuing. And bless you, because I know that as you guys are blessed, you're going to bless many people. I've been sitting here thinking about the size of your household, how that's grown, because from 50 to 1,000 people, but those people have families, they have parents, they have wives, husbands, children. And so you guys have become fathers of a big household. And so blessings to you, because as that grows, then it's going to expand the kingdom and disciple people to do business God's way. And to emulate the faith that you have and to come to work with the expectation that you have. So thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Brett. Thanks.
Likewise.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Okay, great. And by the way, just let us know so people can go and check out TrueTech. Tell us your website and how they can go and check out your business.
Yeah, it is TrueTechSolutions.in. I'll probably send an email or text you. Also.
Okay, TrueTechSolutions.in for India. Well, guys, thanks again so much. God bless you. Thank you for your time.